In the quiet pre-dawn hours of a coastal road near Laguna Beach, California, on February 14th, 2026, Valentine's Day, the world lost a gentle, brilliant light when Finley Melville Ives, the 34-year-old British-American actor, philanthropist, and quiet force behind several acclaimed independent films, was killed in a single-vehicle crash. Finley was driving alone on Pacific Coast Highway when, according to California Highway Patrol preliminary findings, he swerved to avoid an oncoming vehicle that had drifted into his lane. His Tesla Model S struck the guardrail at high speed, rolled down an embankment, and came to rest against rocks below. First responders arrived within minutes, but Finley was pronounced dead at the scene from blunt force trauma and internal injuries. There were no other vehicles involved, no signs of impairment, and the other driver was unharmed. The news hit like a slow, heavy wave. First disbelief, then an ache that settled deep in the chest. Finley wasn't a tabloid fixture or a blockbuster name. He was something rarer, a man whose work felt intimate, whose kindness felt personal, whose absence now leaves a silence that echoes louder than any headline ever could. Finley Melville Ives was born on June 12, 1991, in London to an English father, a literature professor, an American mother, a documentary filmmaker who had met her husband while shooting a project on British poets. The family split time between London and coastal California, giving Finley a childhood rich with books, film, and the rhythm of two cultures. He was shy, introspective, and endlessly curious, spending hours in his mother's editing room watching raw footage, learning how stories were shaped frame by frame. At 15, he appeared in a small independent British film directed by a family friend. At 17, he moved to Los Angeles full-time to study acting at USC, though he often said the real education came from watching people, listening to their silences, and trying to understand what they weren't saying. His breakthrough came quietly in 2016 with the indie drama The Long Walk Home, where he played a young veteran grappling with PTSD. Critics praised his stillness, his ability to convey entire worlds of pain with the smallest shift of expression. That role opened doors, supporting parts in prestige dramas, a lead in the Sundance Darling Light on the Water, 2019, and a recurring role in the HBO limited series The Vanishing Coast that earned him an Emmy nomination. He never chased blockbusters. He chased truth. His final completed project, a small, tender film about grief and forgiveness called Hold the Dark, is still awaiting festival release, and those who've seen early cuts say it may be his most personal and devastating work. Finley was married to Elena Moreau, a French-born cinematographer he met on the set of Light on the Water in 2018. Their wedding in 2021 was small, held on a cliffside in Big Sur with only family and a handful of close friends. Elena and Finley shared a deep creative bond. She shot several of his short films and was working as a second-unit DP on Hold the Dark. They had no children, but they spoke often of wanting them someday, when the work slowed, when the world felt a little less heavy. Finley was extremely private about his marriage. He rarely posted about Elena, preferring to keep their love off social media and in the real world. Those who knew them described a partnership of equals. Gentle, funny, fiercely supportive. His family was small, but profoundly close. His parents, both now in their late 70s, lived part-time in California to be near him. He had no siblings, but his extended family in England, cousins, aunts, uncles, remained a constant presence through calls, visits, and shared holidays. Finley was known for his loyalty. He flew home for every important family event, no matter how busy the schedule. He was the one who remembered birthdays, sent thoughtful gifts, and listened without judgment. Finley's lifestyle was understated and deeply intentional. He and Elena lived in a modest but beautifully restored mid-century home in the Hollywood Hills. Lots of natural light, books everywhere, a small garden where Finley grew herbs and flowers. They drove electric cars, ate mostly vegetarian, practiced daily meditation, and spent weekends hiking in Griffith Park or escaping to the coast. He was not flashy, no private jets, no entourages, just a man who valued quiet mornings, good conversation, and time to read. He was passionate about mental health advocacy, donating quietly to organizations supporting trauma survivors and veterans. His net worth was estimated at $6 to $9 million, earned through film roles, producing credits, residuals from earlier projects, and selective brand partnerships. But he lived far below his means, channeling much of his income into charitable work and supporting independent filmmakers. The crash on Pacific Coast Highway, caused when he swerved to avoid an oncoming vehicle that had drifted across the center line, was ruled accidental. Toxicology reports were clean. Speed was not a factor. The other driver was uninjured. The suddenness of it all has left those who loved him reeling. Elena's statement was simple and shattering. He was my best friend, my partner, my home. I don't know how to do this world without him. Friends and collaborators have spoken of his kindness, his humor, his refusal to let cynicism win. At 34, with so many stories still inside him, his departure feels like a theft. Yet the work remains, the quiet intensity of his performances, the tenderness he brought to every role, the way he made audiences feel less alone. As we say goodbye to Finley Melville Ives, a son, husband, friend, artist, and one of the gentlest souls to ever stand in front of camera, we are reminded how fragile every moment truly is, how precious it is to be known and loved, and how deeply one quiet life can touch so many others. Thank you, Finley, for the stories you told, the characters you made human, and the light you carried so gently. Rest in peace. Your work will keep speaking for you. If this tribute to Finley Melville Ives' beautiful, too short life and the sudden loss that has left so many hearts heavy moved you or reminded you of a performance that stayed with you, please like the video and subscribe for more thoughtful, emotional stories honoring the artists who leave us too soon but never truly leave us. Your support keeps their memories alive. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next one.